In the heart of the Amazon, a strategic and vital force is rising for the development of the northern region of Brazil. This is the Manaus Metropolitan Region, a political administrative unit formed by 13 cities, connected by common challenges and a shared vision of progress, to promote regional economic development. Created by Complementary Law N-Squared 52 of 2007, the RMM has a territorial area of 127,288 square kilometers. Beyond the capital Manaus, the RMM is comprised of the municipalities of Iranduba, Novo Airao, Carreiro de Várzea, Rio Preto de Iva, Itacoaxira, Presidente Figueiredo, Manacapuru, Atezes, Carreiro Castanho, Itapiranga, Manaquiri, and Silves. One of the objectives of the Metropolitan Region of Manaus is create and implement public policies and services of integrated interests between municipalities to facilitate territorial planning and enhance the resources available to serve the population of Amazon. But regardless of anything, what these cities have in common is one very important detail. They are surrounded by the exuberance of the Amazon rainforest and developed within the largest tropical ecosystem in the world. So, how about take a tour of the main cities that make up the metropolitan region of Manaus? Let's discover how they developed in the middle of the forest. And, what do they have to offer tourists visiting the region? Between giant rivers and ancient secrets, a unique city was born. Welcome to Manaus, the God's Mother. The Amazonas' capital is the driving force of the metropolitan region of Manaus. The city concentrates 84% of the economy and 64% of the population of the entire state. A metropolis that combines Amazonian tradition with modernity and industrial innovation.
Manaus, the seventh most populous capital of Brazil, is also the largest city in the entire northern and central western region of the Brazilian territory. Moreover, it has a characteristic unique to large capitals. It holds more than half of the state's population. This causes the problems found in Manaus and its metropolitan area to intensify. We observe a large, immense exodus from the countryside to the capital, in addition to many people from the northeast and south settling in the city due to the success of the Manaus industrial pole. Naturally, the problems end up accumulating, so we have urgent basic sanitation issues to be resolved. Security is also a concern for the residents of the region, not to mention the number of favelas that exist. Of course, there are increasingly research hubs, universities present that try to achieve sustainable development, and I would say that this is one of the big challenges we face ahead. All this, we want to add the attempt to preserve the environment as much as possible, and if we compare the metropolitan region of Manaus, the state of Amazonas with other states of Brazil, in terms of sustainable development, we will observe that we have done our homework. Of course, demands will always come, and should come, and that is one of the concerns we have.
But, to better understand the city that beats in the middle of the Amazon forest, you need to go back many years ago, and discover the paths that brought it here.
Here in the Amazon, everything starts with water. It was from the Amazon River, the largest in length and depth in the world, that life flourished in the region. Formed around 11 million years ago, from the rising of the Andes mountain range, the Amazon is comprised of numerous tributaries, among them the Rio Negro, which flows the city of Manaus. The Amazon rainforest started to develop approximately 6 million years ago, nourished by the constant sediments brought from the Andes by the Amazon River. The warm, humid climate was essential for the emergence of plant and animal life. This is how one of the richest regions on the planet was born. Installed on the left bank of the most important Amazonas River's affluent, Manaus is the city where the waters of the Negro River meet, but do not mix, with the loamy waters of the Solimões River. It is the meeting of the waters, a gift from Mother Nature that flows for about 6 kilometers in front of the city, one of the greatest river phenomena on the planet. The city rests on the oldest portion of the western Amazon. The territory was shaped, millions of years ago, by the sedimentary formation of the Amazon basin. A geologically ancient soil, loaded with history and deep roots. In the history of humanity, the emergence of Manaus is linked to the culture of its original peoples. The main of them is the Manaus people, who inhabited the region before colonization. From the indigenous perspective, the arrival of the invaders represented the destruction of the world.
They say that
on the sacred banks of the river, before time had a name, there lived a people who spoke to the rivers, listened to the song of the trees, and celebrated the winds. They were the Manaus, children of the forest and the waters, masters of fishing, excellent farmers, and wise navigators of the dark waters of the Rio Negro. They gave the name of the Mother of the Gods to the sacred land, where they lived in peace with nature. But the European colonizers arrived and everything changed. They brought mirrors, diseases, slavery. Ajuracaba, the warrior with storm eyes, did not accept the white halter and fought to free his people from slavery and death. When he was captured, he did not surrender. Prisoner, he looked at the sky and whispered, "The river is waiting for me." And he sacrificed himself by jumping into the waters of the Amazon River. Legend says that, even today, on foggy nights, you can see a Ajuracaba in a canoe, sailing free, guiding the warrior spirits who refuse to be forgotten.
Tinha uma aversão muito grande à questão indígena. Depois do Tratado de Madrid, 1750, eles ganham essa região. E aí tem todo o investimento da Dona Maria I, e o Pombal faz uma política de investimento na Amazônia, de conhecimento mais profundo. É quando vem o Alexandre Rodrigues, meio para levantar, para saber o que tem e o que não tem. E há toda uma política de valorização da lusitanização. Então, a nova política de lusitanização era que as pessoas lessem, falassem e escrevessem, se possível, em português. E é quando eles começam a forçar a construção dessas vilas para obrigar que os indígenas ficassem na vila, constituíssem família, e muitos foram trazidos à força para se manter nos lugares. Então essa questão indígena foi muito maltratada e apagada, porque havia toda uma política, a política de colonização, que sufocava, proibia a fala, o costume, tudo na cidade. Mesmo aquilo que eu estava falando há pouco, da cidade que falava em Egatu e tinha suas tradições, a partir de 1862, por aí, nós vamos ter os primeiros códigos de posturas, onde está lá que é proibido estender roupa, de fazer uma série de coisas na cidade que eram hábitos, a casa de palha ou de madeira, atirar flecha na cidade. Então é porque ainda havia isso, andar nu, tomar banho nu na beira do rio antes das 6 da tarde, não podia.
The heritage left by the city that we live today. But, in the Manaus created history, the city had several names. Initially, that the place was named by Lugar de Barra, in the small village that arose around the fort of São José de Barra do Rio Negro, founded in 1669. In 1832 the city became Vila de Barra. In 1848 it became City of Barra de São José do Rio Negro.
Vilarejo insignificante, que era mencionado no século XIX, que ele vem desde o século XVIII, final do 1669, século XVII, né? E aí, esse período, quando teria sido fundada uma fortaleza, que a partir dela teriam constituído, trazido diferentes etnias para formar um grupo, ali um pequeno vilarejo com o objetivo de explorar os braços e o material, a natureza, a madeira, enfim. E só que era um lugar praticamente esquecido.
And, finally, in 1856, after Amazonas became independent from Grao Para, it adopted the name with indigenous roots, Manaus, a homage to the Manaus tribe, whose name means Mother of the Gods. From then on, the city consolidated itself as a political, economic, and cultural center of the region.
Quando o Brasil se torna independente de Portugal, se modifica o nome das vilas e aí propuseram logo em seguida no Código Penal que o lugar da Barra se chamasse Manaus. Manaus escrito com O, mas com a mesma pronúncia, a fonética não muda.
But, in the 19th century, the city that was once just a town, with an economy based on extractivism and fishing, and modest infrastructure has been radically transformed. Manaus' height occurred between 1870 and 1910, during the rubber boom. During this period, the city, known as the Paris of the Tropics, became one of the main economic centers in Brazil, exporting thousands of tons of latex and receiving European influences. The wealth generated allowed the construction of modern infrastructure, paved streets, street lighting, piping water, electric trams, and luxury buildings such as the Amazonas Theater.
É só a partir da década de 1880 que nós vamos ter uma quantidade significativa de obras públicas, as principais, as primeiras obras de alvenaria destacadas, quer dizer, com exceção da Igreja Matriz, que é a única que está fora, que começa em 1850 e termina em 78, mas mercado, palacete, palácio, ginásio amazonense e outras, não chega a 10 as obras destacadas desse período. E são essas obras que vão marcar o período provincial.
One of the symbols of this era is the Amazonas Theater, inaugurated on December 31, 1896, during the government of Eduardo Ribeiro. A heritage of wealth and luxury, the Amazonas Theater was the largest opera house in the Amazon and one of the most beautiful in Brazil. Its architecture is Renaissance, with materials imported from Europe, such as Carrara marble, French chandeliers, and Scottish iron. The colorful dome is made up of 36,000 tiles in the colors of the Brazilian flag.
Antes da construção do teatro, a atividade teatral já promovia o comércio, uma série de movimentos na cidade, dos bares, lojas, circulação, hotel, várias outras questões. Ele acaba sendo o símbolo daquele período, porque ele vai representar a riqueza, a cultura, uma série de outras questões, mas tudo porque ele pode render, basicamente. Sem isso, não teria como sustentar ou investir.
The city's decline began after competition with Asian production, especially from Malaysia, from 1910 onwards. The city faced a period of economic decline and stagnation, with a reduction in investment and migration of part of the population to other regions. But the 20th century arrived. With it came modernity. From the 1960s on, with the creation of the Manaus Free Trade Zone, the city started to grow again. The economic model attracted industries, generated jobs, and boosted urbanization. Manaus became modernized. At the end of the century, the city was already a regional metropolis that we know today, combining its historical richness with a strategic role in the Brazilian Amazon and harmonic coexistence with the environment, a reference in ecotourism and environmental preservation. Local culture reflects the diversity of indigenous, northeastern, and cabocla influences, especially in cuisine. Ponta Negra Beach is one of the most emblematic postcards in Manaus, located on the banks of the Rio Negro, in the neighborhood of the same name, in the west zone of the city. It is an urban river beach with around 2 kilometers of waterfront, which stands out for its natural beauty and modern infrastructure. During the Amazon summer, it is a popular retreat for both residents and tourists. It is a place where the sunset over the Rio Negro paints the sky with golden and orange tones, a thrilling spectacle. In addition to the capital of Amazonas, the Metropolitan region of Manaus also covers other cities, rich in natural beauty that combine environmental preservation with progress. Let's get to know them? In the shade of the giant trees of the Amazon rainforest and among the echo of the waters that fall from the stones, a city was born that carries history, nature, and transformation. Welcome to President Figueiredo. Located in 107 km of BR-174, main access route between Manaus and Boa Vista, Presidente Figueiredo was officially created on December 10, 1981. The city that was named in honor of João Batista de Oliveira Figueiredo, the last president of the military cycle, was the ancestral home of indigenous peoples, silent guardians of the untouched forest. The land was inhabited, centuries ago, by the Waimerie Trori/owners of one of the largest preserved territories in the region. The ancestral people lost territory during the construction of the BR-174 and the Balbina hydroelectric power plant. Today, Presidente Figueiredo is one of the most amazing tourist destinations in the Amazon.
É um atrativo bastante interessante que muitos turistas só conhecem Presidente Figueiredo quando estão aqui. Então é um turismo diferenciado, as cachoeiras, e o nosso turista quando chega, graças a Deus, eles ficam encantados, tipo assim, na Amazônia tem cachoeiras, então o Presidente Figueiredo faz uma grande parcela para o nosso turismo local.
Who arrives here will find majestic waterfalls such as Esframa and the Moroga Cave, named in honor of a great chief Waimerie Trori. Visitors from many countries come from far away to visit this place. Considered a spiritual and natural refuge, surrounded by waterfalls and lush vegetation, a true forest sanctuary.
My father has already been here and wanted to bring me on a family vacation. He knows it well and wanted to show me the beauty that exists here in the Amazon.
In the city, the Urubi Rapids attract visitors, who are enchanted by the power of nature.
What I liked about this place was the nature. And I already really like everything about nature. I like the trees, the plants. I like flowers, you know? It's a beautiful and special place. What I also liked this morning was discovering the caves. It was special because it was a cave that was difficult to access.
The tourism department is very concerned about developing, in the best possible way, the services offered in the tourism trade. We have a very strong partnership with Amazon Aster. We are creating tourist hubs.
This is the story of a municipality that pulses between past and future, where nature is the protagonist and each trail leads to a discovery. On the banks of the mighty Solimões River, where the sky meets the waters and the forest whispers ancient stories, lies a city that charms by its name and fascinates by its soul. Welcome to Manacapuru. This Amazonian jewel flourished from the strength of the Mura indigenous people, who settled themselves in the form of an indigenous village and put down their roots, //. Its name, which in Tupi means colored flower, already announces the beauty that reveals itself in every corner, be it in the vibrant festivals, on the freshwater beaches, or in the traditions that resist the weather. Manacapuru enchants //. A few minutes from the capital, crossing the imposing Rio Negro Bridge, is Irandaba, a municipality of the Manaus Metropolitan Network. Officially founded on February 10, 1981, Irandaba stands out as a pottery hub, concentrating several industries in this sector. But, despite being a recent municipality, the city of Irandaba has a much history to tell, dating back to pre-Columbian indigenous occupations. Before the arrival of the Europeans, the area was inhabited by various indigenous groups, among them the Satirma and Takano. Archaeological finds indicate the presence of hunter-gatherers between 7510 BCE and 2550 BCE. Studies indicate that starting in 300 BCE, the first ceramic groups appeared in the region. The city has an important historical and archaeological appeal. It is there that the ruins of the old district of Paracatuba rest. The historic building was constructed in 1898 to housing immigrants from the rubber cycle. What are today ruins recognized as intangible historical and cultural heritage of the Amazon, were once the headquarters of an arts and crafts high school, a detention house and a hospital for the treatment of Hansen's disease. Like everything in the Amazon, the city is not characterized only by the archaeological factor. It is surrounded by one of the most beautiful natural scenarios in the region, which mixes with the history and culture of the people. In Irandaba, the paths pass by the beautiful Victoria Regias of January Park, by the grandiose 70-meter-high camon trees and the rich biodiversity and unique landscapes found along the Rio Negro. A place that fascinates for its contact with nature.
We have such great wealth that it is hidden away. Here, it seems like we can recharge our batteries to live better.
The Manaus Metropolitan region is a mosaic of landscapes, cultures, and stories that pulse in tune with the power of the Amazon. The cities enchant and invite you to historical, ethnographic, and environmental tourism. Come discover the Amazon.